And when working with the seller, your anxiety is at the highest when you're sitting in front of them in front of a table. How do you break down that anxiety? How do you get comfortable sitting at somebody else's table and asking them for business? I want somebody to take a crack shot at it. What do you think, Tammy?
Well, I would start, with building the rapport and asking questions just more about their personal life to connect personally with, to begin with.
All right.
And then I would move into, I would move into talking about why they want to sell their home, and then go into what their expectations are.
I like it. Kelly, what were you saying?
I was going to say the same thing. Find some common ground and, make a rapport with them, and just have a conversation. Just open it up without having so why you want to sell your home? Why do you want to do this? And make it a personal conversation to connect, and then move in and, discover the nuggets in the conversation.
I like it. If you guys jumping on the call, turn your cameras on. Love to see your faces. So building rapport is key. So when you're inside somebody's house, is building rapport any different than when you're on the phone with them? Is it harder or easier?
I feel like it'd be easier.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you guys say easier?
Body language.
Yeah, you're able to see facial expressions, body languages, what's going on. You can talk about the pets in the house. When you're on the phone, you hear a voice, and that's all you got.
Also, what about the house itself?
Definitely.
Look for pictures, right? Decorations, style of furnishings. Ask them to show you around the house. This is how it works out. I walk into somebody's home, say, hey, do me a favor, show me around. Before we ever start talking business, I want to talk you. As what you kind of say is the business is the outcome of the relationship. So we need to get out there and we need to have a relationship with them. So look around the house, look for pictures. If there's a ton of airplane pictures, right? Some questions to be asked there. If there's a ton of rodeo gear and they live in suburbia, right? Might want to ask some questions, because you're going to help unearth deeper motivations. You're going to unearth a lot deeper root causes to things. Because if somebody is a diehard cowboy or cowgirl and they've got ropes and chains, all kinds of, saddles and leather presses and everything, and their house is in the middle of Tucson and they're just yearning to get rid of it, they're probably going to be buying something that's going to be more in alignment with who they are. When you can help align with somebody in that aspect, do you think asking for business becomes a lot easier?
Yes.
Absolutely. Remember that rapport building before all. Be more interested in them than you are in yourself. Right. Some of the new people haven't heard me say this yet. It's more important to be interested than interesting. Right? We all want to tell stories about ourselves because that's our number one favorite subject. Let somebody else tell the story first. Learn about them. I got 2 Roseannes on my screen. That's awesome. So we're going to overcome some objections today. And these objections we've seen a bunch of times. But specifically, I want to work on as if you were sitting in front of them at a kitchen table or at a sofa set doing a listing presentation. You get through your listing presentation, you ask me if if you'd like me to sell your house, and I tell you, you know what, I'm just going to have to wait. I want some time to think about it. Who wants to handle that objection first? I see a bunch of people like, oh God, please don't call on me. Also, I don't see a lot of people because 90% of you don't have your cameras on. It's okay.
What about a question like, what more do you need to hear in order to make that decision?
That's a great question, Maura. Great question. What more do you need to hear? What information have I not provided to you that you needed? Write that one down. What more can I help provide, right? So this is the point. The process is going super smooth. Everything is great. You're getting along fine. You're laughing. You're enjoying yourselves. You get into the sales price and then you're like, hey, would you like to sell your house? And they're like, wait, we need some time to think about it. When it feels like the train has been derailed and all momentum is stopped, Mara knows what I'm talking about. She's been on this. It just feels like it just dead stops. It's because something happened. Either they heard something they didn't like, or they didn't hear something they needed to. So it's important to flush that out. So ask questions like, what other information were you wanting to get? Have I said something that you didn't want to hear? What other information do you need to make a decision today? What one thing is keeping you from moving forward with me today? When we can isolate a single objection, it makes life easier, right? So why don't we try that again? Kyle, we're just we need a few days to think about it.
Okay, I understand that it's a big decision. You want to take all the time that you can to think things over properly. But is there anything else you need to hear from me today or that I can do for you today to help you make this decision?
Not really, man. We just need to just kind of mull it over.
Okay, that's understandable. But how are you?
Think about that. What's the one thing? Go for it. Use the script.
What's the one thing that's holding you back from making this decision today and moving forward?
Well, Kyle, the sales price, it seems a little low. We were hoping to get 300 for it. I mean, 275 is great and all, but I really feel like we had our heart set at 300.
I understand that you want to get the most for your house, but based on the comps in the area, I feel that 275 is very competitive, and you don't want to price yourself out of the market by pricing it too high. So by basing it on a good price per square foot, I think this is really competitive, and we can help you, close the deal very soon and get you moving forward. So what do you say? Would you like me to sell your house for you?
Yes.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Great job. See how we isolate? It actually gets them to flush out that information. So stacking objection handlers is not a bad thing. Kelly, give it a shot. Kelly, I appreciate it. Just we gotta think about it. Just give us a couple days to chew it over.
Talk to me about that. What's holding you back? What's some of the things that are on your mind that's holding you back from making that decision today?
The sales price.
The sales price. And well, according to the comparables and the seller's market right now, it's at a really, it's a seller's market right now. So we're not going to see those elevate. We're going to see those come down possibly. So I need help here.
Break script. We want to ask questions, not tell.
Okay.
I love the way you came out with tell me about that. Notice how I started to talk and then you kept talking, so I stopped.
Gotcha.
You would have been perfect by saying, tell me about that. Tell me what's holding you back, and then stop. That is a natural human instinct for us to keep going to make, because we feel like we didn't give enough of our intent so that we would get the answer we want. Don't ask questions to get an answer you want. Ask questions to unroot unknowns. By saying, tell me more about that, or like you said, hey, tell me what's holding you back. I loved it. The sales price. Notice how I was very vague. I was vague on purpose. What question would you have asked now that I've asked you to say questions instead of saying, don't state stuff? What question would you have asked in that situation to help unearth more information?
I would ask, Where did you come up with that price? What got you to that price?
Okay. What
What-
price are we at?
Yes.
Right. How about this, Kelly?
Mm,
I'm going to role play with myself a little bit.
okay.
You say, tell me what's holding you back. And I said the sale price. Now you as Kelly would say, what about the sales price is important? Or what is it about the sales price? Or tell me more.
Okay. Just keep them talking.
Keep them talking. I could Abraham Lincoln the shit out of a listing presentation. I can stand up there for hours and just belt out line after line after line. Is it going to do me any good? But asking questions gets them to talk. So let's give it another shot, Kelly. Think about asking good questions to unroot the unknown. Kelly, thank you so much. We're gonna take a couple days to think about it.
Okay, let's talk about that. What's holding you back at this point in time?
Well, it really seems like the sales price would be my only concern.
Okay. And tell me about that concern. What is your concern on the sales price?
I just don't want to give my house away. I feel like 300 is really what it's worth, and I know there's not a whole lot of inventory out there. It's 275. I mean, it's more than we paid for it. It's just, it seems low.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me about how you feel it's low, or what would you? Okay, thank you.
It just, we're hoping to get 100 grand out of the house, and that based on what we've researched and we've seen the market selling around us, they're selling at 270, 280, and our house is much nicer than those. So I think we can definitely bring that 300.
Okay. And help me on this, Big Dan.
This is bored. But now we're uncomfortable, right? You're very uncomfortable, which means your brain is actually super awake and learning. In this situation, Kelly, I want you to be the client at that same point. Kelly, I completely understand that you feel like your house is worth more. It is a gorgeous home. You've done a ton of upgrades. It really is going to garner a lot of interest. Now, I don't want you to price yourself out of the market. What I mean by that is, pricing too high can be a bad thing. How would you feel if you go live at 300 and it sits for a week without getting a single offer?
I'd feel pretty bad.
Right.
But I'd also feel bad if I didn't get what I wanted out of the house.
Right. If you don't get what you want, are you going to sell it?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, what's making you want to sell in the first place?
I want to upgrade
To what?
to something a little bigger and a little more modern.
Right. I mean, you guys have done a lot of work. Are you planning on modernizing the next house you buy?
Hopefully it'll be a turnkey and it'll be exactly what I want.
Okay. So definitely looking at something, maybe a new build where we can customize it from the go.
Yeah.
Cool. So Kelly, let's get your house listed. We'll list it at the market. We'll drive in as much traffic as possible so that we can get the highest and best bid. And if you're not happy with it, don't sell it. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Great. Would you like me to sell your house for you?
Yes, please.
Sign here. Did I just completely take the pressure off the sales price?
Yeah.
Did I could have definitely gone a little further down the rabbit hole. How did her, even though it's a fictitious situation, how did her emotion change when we started talking about the next house?
We definitely, you heard my concern about upgrading and what I want to do. And when you brought up in the new build, it was like, well, you can start and pick out what you want and get exactly what you want from the go. And, you don't have to change anything. And so that would make me change my mind.
A lot of times people that have renovated a house don't want to do it again. Only the small majority of us masochists love buying houses and flipping them and doing it again. Right, Sarah? I laugh because she's done a bunch of them, I'm sure.
Yes. I was thinking to myself right now, but I love this though.
No, there's a few of us weirdos out there. Like as I'm looking at my house is almost done. I'm doing the backsplash right now, and that's like the last thing. After a year, it's taken me to get the backsplash done.
Seeing summer comes and I'm about to do mine. I'm so excited for it too. And I know I'm gonna hate it, but yes.
Yeah, but when you're asking what's next, when you talk about what's next, you get them into future pacing. You get them into the ether, like we talked about a couple of days ago, the ether. Getting them excited about it, you can help overcome simple objections. Now, if you got somebody that's very standoffish and said, no, I want 300, that's exactly where it's at. Okay. Tina, I get it. You want to have 300,000 for a sales price? Absolutely. I've got no problem listing it for that. What are we going to do when we don't get an offer in the first week?
Dan, can you also talk a little bit about like, what if they're comparing you to another agency? So what can Keller Williams offer that other agencies don't? Right? Do you ever come into that with listing appointments? I'm sure. Okay.
Tina, I'm glad you asked. The one thing about being a Keller Williams agent is I'm plugged into the family of the largest franchised brokerage in the world. So what Keller Williams offers you here locally is over 400 agents dedicated to helping find a buyer for your property. What it does for you globally is it connects me with agents across the world, over 180,000 of us, instantly looking for houses in the exact same build out, same style, and same area that may be coming in from San Francisco, New York, Colorado, doesn't matter. A lot of my buyers come in from out of state because of the connection I have with other agents. Being plugged into the nation's largest real estate network has its benefits, but being backed by the best has its rewards for you as well. So sounds like working with a Keller Williams agent would be a win-win for you. Would you like us to sell your house for you?
Thank you. That sounds great.
You guys know that, right? You are the #1 real estate franchise in the world. #1 in volume, #1 in agent count, #1 in technology, #1 in gross deals written, #1 in closed units, #1 in agent paid, #1 in Big Dan Caldwell's. Right? Did you guys know that? My cat is talking out the window. It's the cutest thing. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Yes, sir. Yes, I did.
She's chattering. Is that what they call it? Chattering. So great objection, Tina. When somebody says, what can you do to me? What can you do for me? What can you company? That tells me we didn't say enough. We didn't do a good enough presentation. Everything in your objection handling anchors back to something that happened in the interaction. Like I said, if they're having a great rapport and the train is just flying down the tracks, you're doing great. All of a sudden you go, whoa, we want to think about it. Okay, what did I say? What didn't I say? So ask the question, what's the one thing that's holding you back? I love the way Kelly said that. Tell me, what's holding you back right now? Tell me, what's holding you back right now? That was good. I was like, oh, I like that. I'm gonna write that down. And then the sales price. Well, other than the sales price, is there anything else keeping you from listing your house with me today?
Yes, we want an agent who's got a lot more experience than you. I'm sorry, we just are not going to go with somebody who's not sold a house.
Well, Robin, the beautiful thing with that is I may have not sold a house myself personally, but my team has. And you're not represented by just me. You're represented by my entire team. We closed over 200 units last year. Is that enough experience for you?
No, we want somebody who's got a lot more experience. I'm sorry, we just aren't going to go with you.
Okay, well, tell me more. What do you mean by a lot more experience, Robin?
Well, we're looking for somebody who's done, been in the business for a couple of years at least, who knows the market, who isn't going to be afraid to show our house, who isn't going to be afraid to list it, who isn't going to be afraid to do all the things that we want them to do. And you've got it priced perfectly. We understand that, but we just don't feel you have the experience to take care of this, regardless of who you work with.
Well, Robin, would it make you feel better if I wasn't the agent on the deal? That I was just
Maybe.
there for learning's sake?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, have you met Big Dan?
We have not.
Well, 11 years experience, sold thousands of homes, helps run the largest team at Keller Williams. Certified real estate negotiation expert, buyer specialist, seller specialist, Ball deferred in.
let us look around a little bit, and if we want to go with him, then we'll give you a call back.
Okay, well, why don't I set up a meeting for you guys so you guys can talk it out? Because it sounds like everything else is in line. I've got your expectations. We've got the motivation you want to do. We've got the house price exactly where you're at with a marketing plan that's going to get it sold as quick as you want. And everything lines up for you. The only thing is it's just you're a little timid about the fact that I haven't sold a house before. So I would like to excuse myself from the situation and bring in one of my seasoned professionals that I work with. And that's the beautiful thing about being a Keller Williams agent, is that we have this pool of resources there to help all clients out, especially clients like you that you want a little bit more backing. And I get that. I really do. All great agents started at the beginning, and I'm going to be there myself. That's why we have people like Dan and Mara and Agent X to help us out and grow so that you get the best service. How's that sound?
Well, I guess. Fine.
Well, Rob, I appreciate you being open-minded to it. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but exploring your options is definitely a good idea. Would you like me to set up an in-person, or would you like to do over the phone?
Over the phone would be better. Thank you.
Great. Would you like me to call him right now?
Yes.
And then call me.
Thank you, Robin, for being really difficult on that one, because I know we all get that. So thank you for that.
Well, I lost a listing because of it, because I couldn't even get to that place where I could say, let me call my lead agent and we can set up a time and he can take it and he can do these things that you're thinking I'm not going to be capable of doing. I couldn't even get to that place. So
I can tell you in this, I don't want to be offensive, and I apologize for being curt to it. The reason that affected your ability to have that meeting is because in your head, you believe you're too young and too juvenile in this business to do it. If you would
That's
have
exactly right, Dan.
if you would have had that mentality, like, F that. No, I'm the B. I'm the one you need. No matter how much experience you have, you exude that energy. I remember the first time I walked in a listing appointment, got smacked in the mouth by my trainer by calling the guy Bud. I called the client Bud. And the trainer I was working with literally, thudded me. He said, "You don't call clients Bud." Because he was super professional and very like, I'm going to do everything by the book. He's out of the business. I'm not. Because in my mind, I knew I was dealing with a person, not a business deal. I wasn't just doing a transaction. But I had that in my heart that I am the one this guy needs to work with. So when you're brand new, and I mean stinking green behind the ears, still dripping wet from real estate school, it's going to be scary as hell. It's going to be terrifying to go in there and actually say, yes, I can do this. No, I've never done it before. It's a 5-letter word. You know what that word is? Faith.
Mhm.
I have faith in what I can do because of who I'm with, because of the environment that I'm in, and because of the energy that I put in every day to get better at what I do to help clients like you.
And even bigger, if I can just say, Dan, really quick, you deserve that too. I don't mean to get like cheesy here, but believing that you deserve to have that listing is like that kind of cherry on the top that will allow you to not only, am I good enough for it, but I deserve it as well.
Mindset is everything, people. Robin, I know it sucks, but I'm glad that you're taking this, and I can see you turning it into anger, because that anger will fuel you to be better. Cody Gibson beat me in one script off. And that, my friends, is probably the best thing that's ever happened to you, because I have, and Mara's seen it, I have jumped down the bunny holes and I've got every resource possible so that we as a community can be better, so that it never happens again. I'm comparing myself against one of the nation's best real estate businesses, Cody Gibson's enterprise. He's got 80 different teams. and lowly old Dan. But no, that's me. I'm saying, no, you're not going to beat. I don't care how long you've been in the business. You're not going to beat me. Because like Sarah says, you deserve that. I work hard for what I get. And if you got somebody that's not willing to give you the time of day, you can say, listen, I understand that. You want an agent that's got more experience. I hate to tell you that, but you're not going to be their only client then. You're not going to have the dedication that you're looking for because they're going to be too busy for you. As a new agent, you'll have my utmost experience, excitement, attention, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to take care of you because you're going to be my client. You want that focus? You got it. The confidence in closing the deal comes from that one sentence. You want blank, blank, and blank? You got it right here. If you come in confidently, it doesn't matter how many deals you've sold or not sold. You can come in and say, hey, sounds like working with me would be a win-win. Would you like me to sell your house? Sign right here. Don't forget, no matter what you do, if you are not filtering it through the right mindset, it won't work. If you are timid and scared, what you say will be timid and scared. Raise your hand if you've heard the term fake it till you make it. Guess what? Shit's real. Little story before we go. When I got hired as a sales director at a car dealership, I was sitting in a room. I was a brand new salesperson. This is many, many years ago. I was sitting in a cafe area with 9 or 10 other potential salespeople being hired. And they were doing bulk interviews. They were literally going from table to table to table to table. I was the last person coming from retail sales, a young kid, never sold anything in my life. I went from a lumber stalker. I stacked wood for a living, and I wanted to go in car sales. I wanted to do something different. But I had spent the entire night researching car sales interviews and sales interview tactics and everything possible, right? And the guy got to me and he goes, hey, I see you worked at Waffle House. I see you worked at Lowe's. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And then he goes, what makes you think you'll be successful in sales? I remember this to the day. His name was John. John asked me that, and I stumbled because nowhere, anywhere did I read that someone would ask me what would make me successful in sales. And I told him, John, I'll be successful because I don't have a choice otherwise. And he kind of sat back in his chair, and he sat there for a second. He goes, all right. And he said, what questions do you have for me? I was like, well, John, I see that you're interviewing a lot of people for the same position. When are you going to make a decision? He got all puffy and high and mighty in this prideful chair. He's all, well, I can make a decision. If I liked you, I could hire you on the spot, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, what other questions do you have? And I looked him dead in the eyes and said, when do I start? It was that question and the confidence for me to ask it that set him back in his chair. He laughed and then walked me over and introduced me to the GM, and they hired me on the spot. I was the only person that day that asked for the job. It was a very stressful learning environment, but it has been the undertone of my sales career. It has been the success that I've seen every time is because in that moment, I was the only person that asked for the job. Just like we ask you guys in sales now, if you do not ask for the business, you will not get it. You will be successful because you don't have another option. The mentality and the mindset we come into everything we do, guys, is important. Remember that. Thank you for hanging out with me on this Purple Shirt Tuesday. Quit reading the words behind me. I don't know what they mean either.
Thank you, Dan.
You guys noticed we misspelled awesome. Have a great Tuesday, guys. Hey, good news. My mom should be out of the hospital this morning. So.
Oh,
Yay!
good.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah, you forgot the Ian awesome. Oh my gosh.
I didn't. This was sent.
A whole song about this.
Yeah, this was sent to me by the MAPS coaching community. I'll send it to you guys if you want it. And
It's gotta be like a big one too.
it's a word map of what Keller Williams meant to them. And what's the biggest word on there?
Culture.
Culture.
Culture, opportunity, growth, training, family. And then I just love that my word came up here.
Of course you do.
Oh.
Thank you,
so
guys.
much for hanging out this morning. I hope it puts you in your uncomfortable zone so your brain will grow. Bring that tomorrow. We're going to jump into our final round of the What's Your Number Wednesday before I reset the organization and add new objections to it. So your time to shine comes in the morning, my friends. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.